What's going on, everyone? My name is Dale from Start Racing, and this is the intro episode of a new series we're calling Rare Rides. Now, this is going to be a series about everything from rare concept cars to weird oddball cars and anything under the sun, anything that we could dive into and do some research about. It's kind of a brainchild of mine. I kind of came up with this concept after thinking back on a bunch of conversations I've had with an old coworker of mine, and we used to bring up any weird odd car that we would find or rare car and just kind of dive into it, do some research, learn more about it. And this is pretty much the premise of this whole series. So we're going to dive into our first episode here and show you what we got. So the first car that we're going to be diving into is the Pontiac Pegasus. Now, I'm not sure if anybody's heard of this car before, but it's one of my favorite concept cars that I learned about. And basically, this car is a culmination of American muscle design and Italian engineering. Now, all right, the man that spearheaded this project of the Pontiac Pegasus was Bill Mitchell, the iconic designer for GM and eventually the vice president. He was head designer for many years and spearheaded the projects for many iconic car designs through GM and Chevrolet. He was responsible for cars like the Cadillac Coupe de Ville, the first couple generations Corvettes, the second and third generation Camaros, and the Pontiac Firebird, along with the Buick Riviera and many others. Bill Mitchell was responsible for the sales of over 72 million cars, which is huge. So you know his designs were important and iconic to these eras of cars. Bill Mitchell actually saw some original sketches by another designer named Jerry Palmer, and he drew up a 4-foot by 2-foot sketch of a second generation Camaro or Firebird, but was inspired by a 1958 Ferrari Testarossa. Now, these cars don't necessarily jive, but he took cues from the Testarossa, like the fenders, front and grille, and kind of the body lines on the car. Now, this wasn't typical for an American car to be stylized after an Italian, but once Bill Mitchell saw these designs, he basically snatched it up and handed this project over to Pontiac. Now, many of the design cues may have been a little far-fetched or elaborate from what actually made it into the car, but certain aspects of it, like the wraparound rear window and the tapered rear end, made it into the 1975 Pontiac Firebird and later models of the Pontiac Le Mans and Grand Am.
Nice.
Legend has it that this project received the blessings of Enzo Ferrari himself. And not only did they receive the blessings, but they were gifted a V12 Ferrari motor. Now, this motor was a 365 Colombo 4.4 liter V12, borrowed from the Daytona Grand Tour Ferrari.
Nice.
Yes, that's a lot of words, but this was a lot of engine.
Nice.
Now, this motor was a dual overhead cam V12 with a dry sump lubrication and 352 horsepower. Now, it didn't make a ton more horsepower than your typical GM power plants at the time, but those motors didn't match the styling of the car. They didn't match the uniqueness of the design and where they wanted to go with it, so this was the motor of their choice. It was only right, since it was inspired by the Testarossa. GM also wanted to put in their typical 3-speed transmission, but it couldn't handle the V12 Ferrari engine at all. So they ended up using a 5-speed manual transmission, and to squeeze the motor into the engine bay, they had to push the firewall back 9 inches and create a little bit more custom headers for it in order to kind of shoehorn it in there. Although the second generation Camaro and Firebird has a very elongated front end, but still needed a little bit more room for that motor. The Italian design inspiration did not stop at the exterior. It actually trickled over into the interior, where they wrapped the entire interior in light brown leather with an Italian flair, and borrowing the Veglia Borletti gauges from the Daytona Ferrari itself.
Nice.
They also put handcrafted Italian Borrani wheels on it, which was more spoke design, which typically wasn't an American style, but brought that Italian design to this Pontiac Pegasus. Now back to the exterior. They actually painted it a deep, beautiful candy red and accented it with a bunch of gold pinstriping and gold chrome accents. This definitely doesn't scream American muscle, but it screams Italian beauty and sophistication Finished Pontiac Pegasus was exactly what Bill Mitchell was looking for. We all assumed Pegasus was the Greek god of horsepower, so Bill Mitchell kept this car for himself. Now, he took it along to many car events, car shows, and even racing events. And every once in a while, Bill would take it around the track for a couple of demo laps, having a little fun, showing everybody Pontiac's ingenuity and GM's beautiful concept car. Now, at a certain point, he took it out to Road America and somehow crashed into the now famous Mitchell Bridge. Now, we don't know if this bridge was named before or after this incident, but after this crash, this car needed a substantial facelift and actually had its front fascia built more to Jerry Palmer's initial design, showing love to, his ingenuity and the ideas he had for the car. Following Bill Mitchell passing away in 1988, the car was then returned to GM's ownership. It was actually given another facelift in 2012 by the head of design at the time, Ed Welburn, and he removed much of the gold pinstriping and accents, which in my opinion takes away from the initial allure of the car and the intentions of the design to reflect Italian styling. Now, I don't know about you, but please comment below whether you think this was a bold redesign or blasphemous. In my opinion, this was a concept car. I don't think you retouch a concept car after 40 years, but that's just me. Nowadays, the Pontiac Pegasus resides in its stable at the GM Heritage Center in Sterling Heights, Michigan. If you ever want to go check it out or check out some videos of it, I highly recommend it. I think it appeared at an auto show not too long ago in Canada, and it might be making rounds elsewhere, such as Haggerty and other locations. So, if you guys know anything else about the Pontiac Pegasus that we missed, please comment below and let us know something else about the car. Now, if you also have a recommendation of a car you'd like to see us do a deep dive into, please let us know in the comments as well, and we'd be happy to go look it up, do whatever research we got to do, and learn about it. Maybe I know something about it, or maybe a lot of other people want to see it too. So please let us know what else you'd like to see us do some research on, and we'd be happy to throw that into our series. Thanks for watching this video. We'll see you next time, and I look forward to making some more rare ride videos for you guys to enjoy. Again, I'm Dale from Start Racing, and don't forget to start racing.